We always like to try and bring you something a little bit different, and behind me here is a boat that I have never seen in British waters before. This is the new Bellini Astor 36, and I'm going to tell you everything about it and show you all the way around it. My name is Hugo Andreae, you're watching Motorboat and Yachting. Let's take a closer look. Back in the 60s, Bellini were a big name in yacht building. They're based on Lake Iseo, much like Riva, and in those years they were building similar mahogany, beautiful launches. But since the introduction of fiberglass, they stopped building boats and focused on restoring Rivas, and they still do that today and have a wonderful collection of boats themselves, including the very rare Lamborghini-powered Riva. But now the latest generation of the family have decided to get back into boat building, and this is the first example. It's the Bellini Astor 36. There is also a 58 in build, but let's go and take a look to see exactly what it is they are offering. Now, as you can probably tell, it is a center console style Mediterranean day boat. It's largely open. There is a small hardtop, and we'll take a closer look at that in a minute, but it's all about fun in the sun and a very pretty boat. Now, it was designed by Victory Design, very well-known Italian designers who have created boats for a number of people, including the Technomar Lamborghini, amongst others. They have a very strong performance heritage. They also produce some of the Solaris power range. And I guess in some respects, it's a little bit like that. Now, one of the key features are these big expanding folding balconies, and they really do add significantly to the size of the boat. We've got this one up just to show you what it looks like, but you can see it comes quite a long way up. That's pretty much waist height here. And when they fold down, it creates this wonderful big open platform that is fully 6 meters across. Now, these carbon fiber poles and railings are in fact optional, but they obviously add to the feeling of security. But if you want the full open effect, you don't have to fit them, or indeed you can just remove them and pop them into place when you want to. Lovely big sunbed here. That has a folding backrest, so this can fold both ways. I can probably just lift that over. I might just about be able to do it one-handed. There we go. So in that mode, you can see we've got maximum possible space on the sunbed, but also it flips over and becomes part of the dinette arrangement. I'll just heave that over again to show you that properly. I should also point out there is a big storage area under here, which I think should open up. If you take a look in there, you can see there's plenty of storage for fenders, for covers, canopies, ropes, lines, all that kind of thing. You could probably get a sea bob or two in there if you wanted to. And then moving forward, we've got the dining area. Obviously a big part of a boat like this. You want to be able to sit with your friends, have a nice bite to eat, bit of a drink. Table expands, folds in and out like that. We've already seen how this backrest folds forward. This one does exactly the same. So if you want to face forward underway, often a more comfortable way to travel, this backrest will equally just fold over to create a more comfortable forward facing seat. Now, we've got plenty of storage and some wet bar facilities under here. Rather nice little bamboo covering for the sink. A little bit of storage area. This also folds forward. This is actually under the seat, but that whole thing folds forward, and we've got an induction hob under there. I think we have a fridge under there. You can, of course, pretty much spec this how you want. You could have a second fridge or an ice maker in there. Some nice little bits of storage in here, for example. Again, some of the champagne flutes in there were rather nicely done. And being a small yard, they are very open to customization. I'm just going to pop this seat down so that we can have a look at the helm station. Love this turquoise color. Of course, you don't have to have turquoise. You can have any number of different colors. That's one of the joys of a boat like this. You can very much spec it how you want to, but it does look pretty cool in this lovely turquoise color. Good to see we've got some grab rails around the place. So there's one there, there's one over that side. This is the hardtop I mentioned earlier, so you can see the Bellini branding up there. Feels good and sturdy. It's not the largest one in the world, so there shouldn't be too much force wobbling that around when you're bouncing around at sea. Another useful storage area there. It's got the sort of boat show paraphernalia in, but handy to have some stowage. Here are all the controls for those two folding balconies, and there's a big opening hatch for the engines. I'll show you that in a minute. But first, let's have a quick look at the helm station. I've got two seats here, very cool looking wheel. Now it is powered by a variety of options. They're all inboard stern drives. You can have petrol or diesel. This one has a D4 300 horsepower. So you've got the Volvo Penta throttles there, automatic zip weight controls for the trim tabs. We've just got a single widescreen Simrad there, but there is room for a second one over on this side if you want. Useful little storage area, wireless charging for your phone and so on. Again, good to see grab rail around here, and some buttons for the sort of key areas like the horn, the navigation lights, anchor lights, and so on. So nice mix of digital and physical switches. Now it is very much a walk around design. We've got a couple of steps up to the bow area. Nice big sunbathing space up here at the front. And again, we've got these very cool sort of minimalist carbon fiber rails. These are in fact all optional, so you can take them in and out. You can just see there's a little pop button there, so you can remove those when you want to, but it just adds a little bit of extra security. If you are sunbathing on this space here, it's nice to feel like you've got a little bit of something surrounding you. They're not tall enough to work as grab rails, but actually it's a lovely wide flat deck. It's very easy to walk up here. So there you've got your navigation lights. You can see there is a through hull anchor under there. I'm presuming there is some kind of access under one of these. Probably have to pop that cushion, but there will be access to the anchor panel under there. There you go. You can see there is a little lifting hatch, so you can access all the anchor and so on under there, and a bit more storage and so on. Pop-up cleats everywhere. So again, very much minimalist in style. So you barely notice they're there, but you can pop them up, put your ropes around or sink them down. Nice little detailing in the artificial teak, a little bit of white caulking around the edge of that. 3 forward-facing seats on this side, so you have got somewhere to sit as well as sunbathe. Just a couple of little hatches in there, which I'll show you for the cabin. And it's good to see that this windscreen, while quite minimalist, does have a bit of a sort of lip around the edge of it, so you can use it as a handrail when you're walking around here. Drop down into the cabin area. Some quite steep steps down here. It's sort of 3 quite steep steps, but you can just about get your feet on them. And then actually a surprisingly decent cabin area here. Now very much it's going to be a kind of 2-person boat, but open plan, comfortable looking bed, very nicely trimmed down here. We've got some sort of Alcantara effect suede around it. Again, around the side, some nice subtle artificial lighting in there. And these are the 2 little hatches I showed you earlier. So there is bit of natural ventilation in there, and there is a second skylight overhead and an escape hatch if you need it right above there. But for a small yard, it's actually very nicely finished, very nicely trimmed, and the quality looks decent too. Now you can spec this very much how you want. Here we've got a little extra sink in there. I think there's storage behind all of these. There is in fact a little microwave there, so you can warm up some food inside too if you want to. I think you can have a second fridge under here if you want to. At the moment, just kitted out with storage. And then under the stairs, there is in fact a second bed. Now this is open plan too, so realistically you're only likely to use it for your children or so on, or just as extra stowage, but really handy to have. And given that it's largely going to be used as a day boat, it's just a nice optional extra to have if you ever need it. Much more important is the fact you've got a decent separate heads compartment, day heads. That's behind this door here, if I open that up. And again, very sensibly, it's got plenty of headroom in here. We've got a proper separate shower area behind a glass door. Lots of nice teak grating on the floor, so the water drains away and dries nice and quickly. The loo is in the corner there as part of the shower. There is a little fold down lid for that. So you can sit in there, have your shower, hide the loo, nice teak storage behind there, little extra ventilation there, but really good headroom. If I just spin the camera around, you can probably see that there is a decent amount of headroom above my head. good sort of 4 or 5 inches above me. I'm 6 foot or so. So actually not a bad space at all. The door itself is relatively narrow. I often find that if you're trying to go in, your shoulders are a bit of a squeeze between those gaps there. But other than that, very nicely finished. Nice light trim. And actually, for a day boat, not too bad at all. Now, whilst we're here, I'm just going to quickly show you that engine space and talk a little bit more about performance. So if I just open the hatch, I think that is that button there. I might need a bit of help with it. Oh, enable. Okay, you probably see that lifting now. There's a safety button, you just have to press them both at once to make sure you don't accidentally tip someone off the sunbed into the sea. And here we go. That's probably far enough. So you can see we've got twin D4 300s in here. I'm told that with these engines you get around about 36 knots, but you can upgrade those to 320 horsepower D4s, or in fact full D6s. And with those, it's certainly likely to be a 40 knot boat, and particularly if you opt for the big petrols too, the big V8 petrols. So there you go. I promise you something a little bit different, and I think really for a first boat, this is a very impressive looking craft. It's pretty, they've got a lot of the details right, the finish feels high quality, the build looks sturdy and solid, and it is unquestionably a very, very pretty design. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing something a little bit different. Do please let me know what you make of it in the comments, and as always, thank you very much for watching.